Hello fellow Peanuts fans, I'm Karen from CollectPeanuts.com. Today we're going to be giving this Lucy Pocket doll a new dress. She is from the late 1960s, and over the years somebody took off her dress and she unfortunately never got it back. Usually when they're brand new-ish, they look more like this. This is about the original color of her dress. If you turn down the middle here, you'll notice that there's no noticeable fading. I think there's just a little tiny bit, but her colors are still beautiful. But usually when you find them, the dresses look more like this. You can definitely see the fading on this one. And she's missing her pants, so we will try and make some new ones for her as well. Get them all back in ship shape. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want these dolls to be loved again. Even if they're just sitting on a shelf looking beautiful, you know, they deserve to look beautiful and have their clothes. It's always nice to have clothes, isn't it? And if you appreciate this, do join us on patternmaking.com. Thank you to all of my Patreon supporters who help make videos like this possible. Thank you. Okay, first things first, let's get to know these dolls. Now, Lucy did come with two different faces. This isn't like some sort of aftermarket kid making a new face on their Lucy doll. Let's take a look at the more pristine one first. You can see she's got a purple sash. This is just hand stitched on. And then these pants are like a knit type material almost. It's like a stretchy knit. Now, I've never seen this type of fabric before, and I don't believe I will be able to get any of that, so I'm just going to use a regular broadcloth, the same fabric I'm using for this. And she should have elastic on her armholes here, but that has perished over the years, which is normal. You can see there's a little bow on her back that is just sewn together, so you can't undo it. And then there's a little teeny tiny itty bitty button. I was not able to find buttons of that size. I do have some snaps though, so we're gonna do something a little bit different. So she's got a collar that's just top sewed on. And then there is a seam for the skirt here. So this is gonna be an interesting build. So this dress isn't as good, and I was hoping to get it off of this doll, but I cannot figure out how this dress would come off, which is kind of sad that girls wouldn't be able to change out the clothes. And I would want to be really careful with removing this because the fabric can get very delicate, and you know, one wrong pull and you just tear a big hole into the fabric. So I'm not going to try too hard to get this off of her. If it comes down to it, I will seam ripper this off of her if I can't come up with a decent pattern on my own. But I'm hoping to not have to use one of these dresses to make the pattern. But here again, you can see the difference in the two colors. And under her collar. So I want to make this dress so that it can come on and off of Lucy. So I think I am going to make it so that the bow can just snap onto the back here, and then this is all open. So then you can just sort of put her in her dress and hopefully make it easier to get it on and off if you want to, like, say, change her clothes up for a different season. Because if you got the pattern, you can make infinite dresses for your Lucy doll. let's move on to the pattern making. So the first thing I'm going to do is just get some measurements and just try cutting one out, putting it together and just seeing if the basics work on her. And hopefully that works and we can just move on forward from there. I hope it's that easy, but it might take a couple different tries to get this just right. Crafting is done. You may remember this as the original doll. This is the failed dress. The collar looks terrible. The dress was too big. It was good for learning, but definitely not the finished product we want to see. And then the second dress. This is looking a lot better. I learned a lot about how to do the collar with pleats rather than the gathering that I did with this one. The gathering just looks terrible. But the skirt looks a little bit different. So in the next iteration, I went with a circle skirt. And it looks a little bit poofier than Lucy's original. But just consider how many years that this old Lucy sat in a bag and had her skirt crushed. So maybe when it was new, it was meant to look a little bit more like this. And to make the final dress, I did end up taking this dress off the doll. So her shorts were a little difficult to make. The stretchy knit works a lot different than this non-stretch broadcloth. So that was tricky to work with. Also, the elastic for the arms was tricky to work with since it's like an elastic thread. It's not able to find like an online tutorial on how to use it, so hopefully I did it right. It seems to be working, so that is the important part. And the big innovation, the back of her dress. We have a bow. And there are two little snaps here. So you can take off her dress and dress her again and again and again without any problems. So see the nice work I did inside. Turned out pretty good. It doesn't have to be finished seams because this won't get used a lot. I think if you were making this for a young lady who was going to be taking the clothes on and off constantly, you know, kind of like a Barbie doll, then I would definitely like want to finish up the seams just to make sure it lasts a good long time. But since she's going to be keeping these on, I don't think I need to do that. So this bow here, you just tie a bow however you like. And I did end up hand sewing this on. There we go. Easy peasy. And then for her accent on the front of the dress, on the original, I think they just machine embroidered it. I thought I could probably do that, but thought it might be kind of a pain. So I actually ended up just doing hand embroidery with embroidery floss. And then I just used French knots for the end of the dots. And then just a straight stitch for the middle on both of these. So if you know anything about French knots, terrible. So there we go. Now, if you would like the pattern for this, please come support us on patternmaking.com. I don't have them worked up yet because it would require digitizing the pattern pieces, maybe making it one more time to make sure everything is working okay, writing down instructions, probably some good photography to go with it so that you know what the original dress is supposed to look like, because if you're making a new dress for your Lucy, you might not have an original to refer to, and you probably want to get it as accurate as possible. So if you'd like to see that happen, do come support us on patreon.com. I do this in my free time. I've got a full-time job. There's a lot of projects that I want to do, and finding the time to digitize a pattern is difficult. So you might wonder what's next in store. I have this pillow I would like to redo. You can see his nose is a bit floppy. It's looking a little dirty and ragged. This is from the 1980s, even though it says 1958, it's from the 1980s. This would have just been a flat sheet of fabric that you cut out, and then you can make whatever you want. Generally a pillow, but you know, do what you want with your fabric. So yeah, I would like to pull this apart, clean it up, and zhuzh it up, basically. Make it look a lot cooler than just a basic pillow. If you want to see that happen, come join us on patreon.com, where you can make all of my crazy ideas come to life. And be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out a lot. And if you want something for your own collection, come join us on CollectPeanuts.com, where you can see pictures of my collection, stuff I have for sale, and all sorts of articles about Peanuts collecting. Happy collecting, everyone! Bye!